everybody, Lord Verminard back again in Motortown, behind the wheel. Oh geez, I have a car in low condition. Uh-oh, we better fix that before we start off on our adventure today. So I did a thing. I have a couple of things that I kind of want to do today. Normally I try to set up some particular type of mission before I start recording. I didn't really do that this time, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. So let's go to we're going to take my fancy new car, and we're going to go to the first stop. And that is, we're going to pop down to the racetrack. That's the wrong way, isn't it? I knew that. Okay, here we go. We're going to pop down to the racetrack and play with a new toy that I just got. Excuse me. Pardon. No, don't you. Okay. Freaking BMW drivers. Of course it'd be one of those guys. Just kidding. Yeah, this car is kind of silly fast for what it is. Of course, I did throw a turbo on it, but still. It's effortlessly fast, which is not a bad thing. All right, we're speeding a little, and that's fine. How are you guys doing today? I hope everybody's doing great. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm doing pretty well. I am very sneezy today. So I apologize if I suddenly stop talking mid-sentence, or you hear a bunch of racket or commotion as I flail at the mute button on my microphone before I sneeze. That's what's going on. I think that I think it's the damn cottonwood trees. And I know everybody's like, cottonwood trees don't have, you know, the fluff doesn't have pollen and the seeds don't have pollen. I know that. But the pollen of everything else, the common troublemakers, you know, the ragweed and the grass pollen, all that stuff, it's always here in the summer. The level hasn't changed, but the amount of sneezing has gone up significantly. And the only thing that's changed is that there's substantially more cottonwood fluff floating around. So I am pretty convinced that's what's going on. Uh-oh. I meant to do that. It's totally fine. Anyways, yes, so I got this here formula, SCM. So I wanted to bring it here, and you know, I just like brought it here and parked it. I want to do some laps. Since I did some laps with this beautiful machine last time, I wanted to kind of cut some laps with that one as well and see if we can kind of do a time comparison and see if it's really that fast or not. It didn't feel that fast just driving it here. So I don't really know exactly what to expect. And I don't know like what kind of upgrades we can do or anything like that. So I guess we'll just find out. Let me put down a couple of baseline laps with this machine though. A little bit rusty after last time. I feel like I did pretty well last time. I think I did like a sub 40-second lap, maybe? Something like that. I know there's more in it. It's a skill issue, like, you know, like with that. If I had a wheel, this would probably be a little bit easier for me. I am using a controller, which, oh man, just burn them tires. Yeah, so controllers with analog sticks have limitations, obviously, especially for racing stuff. Some people are quite good with them, actually, but I am not one of those people. And also, something weird happened with the controls in this game. I use an 8-bit do Pro 2 wired controller, which, in my opinion, is about as close to perfect as you can get for a PC controller. Because it's just like an SNES controller, but it's got some updates, you know, like analog sticks and analog triggers, a couple extra buttons, and it feels very much like a Super Nintendo controller, which in my mind is, I don't know if a gamepad gets any better than that. And everyone has opinions about that, but I just completely effed up a really, really good lap right there, and I'm kind of upset about it. But we're gonna keep on going. But the problem that I have with it is that it has different modes that it can run in. So it can run in X input mode. It can run in switch mode if you're connecting it to a switch or you're using a switch emulator, which you're not supposed to be doing, but it can do that. And then it has like an Android mode, direct input, I think is what it's called. So if you're going to use it for Linux or whatever, you can do it that way. The problem is in switch mode on the PC, it enables the gyroscopes and stuff like that in the motion controls, which it's cool that it's got that. But since the Switch does not have analog triggers, the analog triggers don't function as that. They function as buttons. So I'm almost out of gas too. I'm gonna be paying attention to that. So, and then the direct input mode has analog, but it doesn't work on Windows. There's a like a Mac / PlayStation mode. And I don't know what the limitation of that is, but every time I've used it, it's never really worked right. So I don't do that. So I'm basically stuck with the default X input mode. But the problem is, in X input mode, the system treats it as an Xbox controller. So the buttons are mapped like backwards, you know, like the X and Y and the B and A are switched compared to what they would be on a Nintendo controller. Now most of the time you can just like remap the buttons so that they make sense to you in whatever game you're playing, right? And that's fine. But in some games, it actually shows you like the glyphs in game for the button combination that you need to use to do whatever. Like, so if I wanted to switch on, geez, that was 42 seconds. God, I know I can do better than that. So like if I wanted to switch on, you know, autopilot, it says left button plus the Y button to turn on autopilot. But it's not Y, it's X. Because they're switched. And also in X input mode, you don't get the motion controls, but you have the analog triggers. So it's just a whole thing. And the Steam app has a thing where you can turn the Xbox controller into like the Switch mode, so that the buttons are properly mapped to what they should be for a Switch controller or a Nintendo controller, I guess. And I think what happened is that used to translate into the game, so that if you were playing Motortown, they would be mapped correctly. But something changed, and now it's not like that anymore. And I fiddled with it for longer than I care to admit today, and could not get it to go back to the way it was. So now I have to like reverse the freaking controls. There was a 39.9. Now I'm certainly not going to get faster than that while it's raining. So let's bring this in. See, I was trying really hard to get like a sub 40. And also try not to run out of gas. So anyways, if I hit the wrong combinations of buttons to do things, that's why, is because now they're different. And it's really annoying, and I wish I could make it go back to the way it was, but I can't. So here we are. All right, gas me up. Nope. See? Fill me up. There we go. So I've mapped, like, you know, the normal stuff back to the way it was, the shifting and everything like that, but it's just the combinations of buttons and, like, you know, selecting, like, just hitting A to select gasoline is actually hitting B. And It's just really annoying, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know why it's like that. You know, I don't know if it's Microsoft's fault with Windows, if it's 8BitDo's fault because they only use X input mode just like an Xbox controller. Then you can't use the gyro. Like, I don't know. So, if this controller could work the way that I want it to, fully featured in Windows, with the buttons mapped the way they're supposed to be, which in my opinion is the Nintendo way, not the Xbox way, then I would be really happy with it. But I can't do that. So here we are. All right. Anyways, enough rambling about controllers. Let's drive the little Formula SCM. Obviously, we're going to have to take a really, really careful outlap here because it's raining. Like I said, this thing doesn't really feel that fast. It's also very slidey, even though in the rain it would be. This is kind of like a Super V, like a Formula Super V, or you know, if you did amateur kart racing as a kid, this is the kind of thing that you would kind of graduate up to. So no downforce, but should have a good bit of mechanical grip. It seems to accelerate quite quickly, but it's so slidey. Oh my. Okay. It's a twitchy little machine, I'll tell you that much. I'm just barely giving it throttle here. Wow, that's a lot of drifting. Seems like it's got an open differential as well. And we've binned it. All right, there we go. So did I do a 39.9 just now, or was that my top speed from my top time from the Porsche? You know what? I don't even know. Oh, off track my ass. Whatever. It seems like it's got an open differential. Okay, man, it's so easy to come in too hot there. All right, you get the hang of this thing here. It's really tricky to drive. I was expecting it to be A, a little bit faster, and B, a little bit easier to drive, but it's not easy at all. Just the I don't wonder if it's possible to dial some of that suspension, or dial some of that oversteer out in the suspension. I don't know. It just seems like it wants to just whip around and kill you. Alright, let's come into this turn a little bit easier. There we go. Now this one you kind of have to... Ugh, ugly. Yeah, that's got to be an open diff because it's spinning that inside tire as soon as I tap the throttle. Geez, that was a 40.2. And it felt really slow. Like there was some really awkward sections here. Maybe this thing was a lot faster than I thought it was. It's just really hard to drive. Come on. Oh crap. Balls. All right. Damn it. I'm going to try to get a good, clean, fast lap here. Yeah, like I don't think the way to drive one of these is to like just completely full send it sideways into a corner. I'm no expert, but I don't think that's kind of how you want to do it. Yeah, I always thought that these things were like had a lot of mechanical grip, but hardly any aero. So I'm going to short shift into third here. It still just wants to just burn the crap out of the tires. Crap. All right. Oh, God. Okay. I touched that curb and it was just like, I'm going to face the other way now. Oh, man. I shaved that one about as close as it goes. Now I'm wide here. All right, full throttle. Lugging it a little bit. All right, short shift into third. Come out wide, come into the inside. Pin it. 40.8, so that was a little bit slower. Oh my God. Okay, I kind of hate this thing. I kind of hate it. For as much freaking work as it is to get one of these put together. Oh God. It's, and then you got to pay for it, which is, it's like 100 grand or something. Ain't cheap. I was expecting it to be a lot better than this. So I'm pretty positive that you could do a sub 40-second lap with this thing, but probably not by me. So are there any like upgrades we can do, or son of a, see, there's the freaking thing being reversed. Okay, I'm gonna use the mouse. Yeah, so the only engine is the 150 horsepower one. No turbo. Holy crap, the only transmission we got's a 4-speed? Okay, we can 308 final, we can change the final drive, no limited slip. We can do roll bars, we can do springs and dampers. We can do ride height, which is great. No wheel spacers and an angle kit. That's it. Oh, can we put a wang on it? No. Well, that sucks. Can we change the wheels? Nope, can't do that either. Damn it. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I was hoping we'd be able to like do a whole bunch of cool mods to it and put wings on it and stuff. But we can't. Huh. All right, well, it is what it is. That's 100 grand down the drain. Like it probably would be fun if you were doing a race with all of these cars and nothing else. Probably be a good time, but it's not a whole lot of fun to drive. The carts were a lot more fun. Can I just buy one of these stupid things? Give me one. All right. So I drove one of these before and it was a blast. It's only got a single gear and it's got a little 2-stroker. So I want to know if you can upgrade these things. Oh, yeah. Double the horsepower? Yes, please. Costs almost as much as the whole cart, but I don't even give a crap. We got our intakes, the usual sort. Well, obviously, we want a short intake. We want all the HP. I'm guessing we probably need the bigger radiator, so let's do that. No turbo, that would be sick, though. Oh, a 2-speed. I need racing level 20 for that. Seriously? What the crap? Okay. All right, game. Sure. 586 gear in it already. Locked diff. Yeah, that makes sense. It would have a locked solid rear axle. Oh, this is cool. So we can put a 2-speed transmission in this bastard. I have a feeling we're probably going to need a lower gear now. Oh, what about tires? High profile and low profile. And a drift tire. Why does it have both of these installed? So it has the low profile tires, or the high profile ones in the front and the lows in the rear. Why? I don't know. We can do the braking upgrades. That's cool. Oh, we can do suspension too. I'm not gonna mess with that. And we can do spacers. We change the wheels? Ah. Would have been sick though. Okay, all right, let's try this with the 20 horsepower engine. Like I said, I'm sure we're gonna probably need to adjust the gearing. Look at that, he's driving like a boss without his hands on the freaking wheel. And we got no lights. All right. Ah, damn it. See, that's the freaking thing being... Okay, we're in drift mode. I don't want that. I want... Sport. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we're gonna run out of gear real fast here. Whoa! Yeah, we definitely need a taller gear here. All right, a whopping 70 kilometers per hour. This thing feels like it's got more grip than the Formula does, though. All right, so let me see if we can bump that gear up real quick here. And I said I wasn't going to go into too deep into doing this, but this is fun. This is a lot of fun. Okay, powertrain, final drive, and we've got a 529 in it now. I feel like we doubled the power. We could probably get double the speed. Let's put a 427 in it, I guess. And see what we get. So that should give me a top speed, theoretically, of about... about 135, 140 kilometers an hour, maybe? Obviously, it accelerates a little slower. Which might be a problem coming out of this turn here. It'll be alright. It'll be alright. This thing is super fun to drive. Like, it slides around, but it slides around like a cart does, you know? If nobody's ever had the opportunity to drive one of these, like an actual racing cart, I'm talking about the stupid rides at the amusement parks or whatever. I'm talking about like a a real like racing cart on a track, you need to do it. Even if it's only got like 5 horsepower or something, those things are a freaking riot. Understeering a little bit, which is kind of how these things handle. They understeer until they don't. And then they oversteer really quickly. Unless you really like hammer them into the turn. Like, can we take this at full beans here? Oh, yes, we can. Okay, that was actually only about 90 kilometers an hour. So that was only 47 seconds. So I feel like with the right gearing, this thing could go a hell of a lot faster. That 2-speed transmission would be actually huge. Oh yeah, this is fun. Yeah, see, it's understeer and then it oversteers. Snap. Yeah. That was a 45. That's pretty good. Okay, well, here's my advice. Don't buy the Formula SCM. Buy the cart instead. It's a lot cheaper. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. There we go. Yeah, I can see like having some races on servers with this cart. That would be super fun. All right, enough messing around. How about I get some actual work done today? So this is what I was gonna do. I want to deliver fuel to Guangjin. That sounds like fun, right? So I have one of the Brutus tankers. How should I go about doing this here? How about here? How about, because I don't think it's gonna fit in that. I think how about we go to go see on truck real quick. Come on, camera. There we go. Right, now that I'm past where I need to be. Yeah, I'm glad I got that cart, man. That thing is super fun. Way cheaper than the Formula SCM too. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that. Like, it'd be cool if you could at least slap a turbo on it and, like, you know, some front and rear spoilers. Oh crap! Cops are already on me. Not for long. All right. That's overseas imports, not Ghost Hand Truck. Oh. Okay. Oh crap. Sorry. Okay. This car is great. I actually really enjoy this car a lot in this game. A lot of the cars are just kind of, they kind of lack a bit of personality. This one's a lot of fun. All right. Wrong button, as usual. All right, we'll turn it off. Let's hit the emergency brake. Let's jump out, leaving the lights on. It doesn't really matter. Let us, can we summon? Yes. Here comes the fuzz. All right, whatever. We're gonna summon the Brutus. Shut up. Whatever. All right, even though it's in the middle of a job, I don't care. Do we have any cargo? Like the fine for speeding and refusing to stop is almost the same as just what it was for summoning this thing. Okay, so I think we needed to do some upgrades for this thing. So let's pull it into the bay. I'm pretty sure that I upgraded a little bit on it when I first bought it. Wow, this thing feels like a big giant truck compared to that little car. Ugh. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Pots. Okay, so we got that one installed. Obviously, we want the biggest one, right? I have 2 of these. Not anymore. Okay. Long intake already installed. Okay, that's great. Large radiator is already installed. Stage 1 turbos installed. Fantastic. 6-speed truck transmission. Oh, I got the 13-speed in it. All right. 308 final drive. Okay. Two-way clutch LSD in the front and the rear, two-way clutch LSD. Okay. So we don't have to worry about running it in 4-wheel drive locked mode. Brakes should be fine. I don't think... Did I do anything with the suspension? Uh-uh. I feel like, we're probably going to have to boost those rear springs up a little bit. Oops, I already had a couple of those. Let's do 200s in the front, I guess. 'Cause we do have a heavier engine in it now. Dampers. 300s in the rear and 200s in the front. Sounds good. Now, here's the thing about ride height. I don't think it really needs... That suspension might be too stiff, but it's also not loaded. This thing's already pretty high, so I think it's probably fine. Spacers, do we need? Could probably use a little bit of spacing. That's probably fine, actually. Okay. That saves me a little bit of money. Angle kit we don't need to worry about. Wheels. Let's see. We've got the Brutus Wrecker wheels installed. Do we have any that are wider? Ooh, the Golema ones are definitely wider. All right, we're getting those. That was expensive. All right, tires. $5,000 kilograms. Is that per tire? Heavy duty rear, dual rear, even though it doesn't have duals. You know what? I'll take it. That gives me a little bit of extra capacity on the rear. Oh, we got accessorize. What do we got front bumper wise? Well, that's hardly any different. Weird. Okay. Well, whatever. And we could do winches too if we wanted to, but I don't think that's really necessary. We got any skins? No, we don't. All right. I think that's fine. Oh, you know what? I should probably repair it while I'm here because the body has damage. Which I'm not really sure. Did my AI driver do that? Son of a bitch. All right, so we're in 2-wheel drive now. So I don't have to worry about locking it since I've got basically locked differentials in it now. Ooh, okay, yeah, she's a little bit more spirited now. I don't think this is going to have any trouble at all getting through to Guangjin there, but so where the next question is, where do we want to pick up the fuel? So that supplies crude oil, then we'd have to take it down here to refine it and then drive it all the way back here. Or I think we can just go up to Jeju and pick up fuel. Yes, we can. Is that going to work? That should work, right? All right, let's go there. All right, here we go. All right. So far, so good. Yeah, I forgot to say this at the beginning, or did I? I can't remember now. Well, I'm going to say it again. If you guys enjoy the Motortown content, make sure to hit the like button down below. That way I know that I can still do it. There's some games that I, want to play, that, I don't know, might not be the best for the channel, but, also I don't play games just based on how many hits they get, because there's a handful of you guys that appreciate some of the games that I play that might not be the biggest hitters on the channel, but I know that a lot of you guys enjoy it, so I'm going to keep playing those games. And obviously I can't do that. I can't only do fan favorites for everything, but I try. This truck is pretty good, man. When I bought it, I didn't really drive it that much. Also, as of right now, anyway, whoa! I was at, oh man, the steering is so slow. As of right before I started recording this, I was at 2,998 subscribers. So, just like 2 away from 3,000. So, I imagine by the time you guys are seeing this, we'll probably be there. I mean, maybe not. I've had days where I've had like 3 or 4 days in a row where I haven't had any new subscribers. Which happens, but whatever. But 3,000 is a pretty big milestone for me. I don't really have any reason why 3,000 is the number that I've kind of landed on as being a benchmark, but it is. Just, I don't know. I think when I very first started doing this, I thought, if I could get 3,000 subscribers, I'd be really happy with the progress. So I think that's kind of why I've got it in my head as 3,000 being some sort of some sort of big milestone. So yeah, we should be there by the time you guys see this, hopefully. And if that's the case, then we'll have another in-person, I guess, or camera time video, FaceTime video. Just updating everybody and thanking everyone for helping me get this far. So yeah, look for that. The last 2 that I did, I didn't script at all. Just kind of winged it, and they definitely sounded kind of awkward. That last one I did was a long time ago. 2,000 subscribers was a good long time ago at this point. So maybe I'll actually try and sort of script something. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just go off the cuff again. That's weird. I've never actually gone into the harbor this way before. It's just kind of weird. Everything's different. It's freaking me out. Okay, let's see here. I have picked up fuel here before, but I don't remember the last time I did it. Okay, I get it. Hey, they got fuel. All right, very good. So Guangjin fuel storage, that's where we're going. Oh, holy shit balls. See, I wanted to just help out the people of Guangjin, but maybe I should take it to Magium. Magium, however you say that. To the oak storage, or the oak place. That's $10,000 per liter. Or not per liter, but per kiloliter. That's a bunch of cash. Let's do it. Let's do that. We'll put as much as I can in this sucker, which is 7. Not bad. Yeah, you could definitely get more. Yeah, I haven't done this route in a long time, so this could be kind of fun. All right, change of plans, but we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna do some off-road fueling. Sounds like a good time. Are we overweight? Probably not, since this thing only holds like 7. Yeah, 12.2. So yeah, we're way under. Now, if I were using like a tanker trailer, it'd be a different scenario. Yeah, it's pulling this thing like it's not even there. Excuse me. I haven't actually taken this thing off-road yet, so I'm kind of curious to see how it'll do. Unfortunately, the only 2 configurations for this truck are tanker and wrecker. So you can't really do any cargo with it, unfortunately. Kind of looks a bit like a Mercedes Unimog, I think. See, where are we going? We're going this way. Once the camera decides to... Fasten on the right, up a hill. Come on. Yes. Love it. Oh, just getting a little warm though. I do feel like the car's kind of... They're a little bit too sensitive to overheating, I think. It's not entirely realistic. I guess it probably depends on what kind of vehicle you're driving, right? But in my experience, most normal cars can operate at full output over an extended period of time without too many problems, as long as it's, you know, the engine's in a good state of tune and, you know, everything has been, maintenance has been taken care of and stuff like that. Man, this thing's got an extremely high top speed. We're in top gear. Uh-oh, this is not good. Not good. All right. Overcorrected. All right, we're rolling. Come on. Oh. Bother. Well, we've binned it. No, I want to tow to the nearest road, you dumb thing. There. Like nothing ever happened. I thought I was going to be okay there for a minute, and then I rolled over, and then things went wrong. All right, wonder if there's any chance we can find a garage. We can fix this thing real quick here before we... It is a little top heavy. That's why I didn't raise it up. I feel like it was already raised up enough. Well, here's the speedway. I don't know if I can get this thing in the garage or not. Let's find out. Whee! Oh, it might fit. What she said. All right. Oh, it'll fit. Hell yeah. Okay, fix, please. Jeez, already mangled the engine and everything. Well, that was expensive. Okay, anyways. Anyways, back to what I was saying about cars overheating and whatnot. I've told this story before. God, could you people... All right, you know what? I'm not waiting for anybody else. I'm just going. Everybody's gonna have to wait for me. Okay. Oh my God, where has all this freaking traffic come from? You want to race, buddy? I don't think you do. All right. I've told this story before, but the first Volkswagen that I bought was my 84 Mark II Scirocco. And it was, I bought it when I lived in Maryland, and it was in pretty rough shape. It had been sitting under a tree for a long time. It was covered in moss and stuff, and you know, I popped a fuel pump relay in it, and it fired up. And we, you know, put some fresh gas in it, and it started. So I spent a lot of time getting it roadworthy. And then eventually I had to move. Well, I didn't have to. I chose to move out of Maryland back to Ohio. And obviously I wanted to bring the car with me. I couldn't bring it when I initially moved. I just didn't have the extra capacity, right? So I left it there at the Volkswagen dealership where I used to work, and they left it in their holding lot, basically, which is like a secured location, which is really nice of them to do without charging me money for it or anything. And I came back to get it about a year after that, and so, you know, I had done a bunch of work. I did the timing belt, and I did the water pump, and you know, all the belts and stuff, and the tune-up, and clean the fuel system out. I did a lot of work to it, but it still had the original radiator and stuff like that. I didn't get a chance to change the transmission oil. Obviously, I changed the regular oil and stuff like that. But so I barely had driven that around. Like, I basically just drove it around the lot as I was testing things, and I just kept it parked there while I was working on it. So after work, I would pull it in to one of the bays and just, you know, work on it for a couple hours every night. And so I basically, when I came to pick it up, I put new tires on it and drove it down the street. And then I was going to drive it, you know, like 600 some odd miles back to Ohio. So anyways, the trip didn't go without incident. there was something wrong with the charging system, so I was dealing with that on the way home, so I had to like get it jump started a lot. And the heat didn't work, which was a problem because it was very cold that day. And somewhere in West Virginia, I lost fifth gear. And which is a whoa, okay, we're about to fall over again. Okay, we're just gonna take this. We're gonna take this line. This is the expert line right here. Not many people know about that. All right. Common problem with those older Volkswagen transmissions, if they leaked transmission oil out of the axle flanges, which they often did, because nobody ever bothered to change them, the level inside the transmission would go down far enough that it would leave fifth gear dry, basically. And so then if you're driving on the highway or someplace where you're using fifth gear a lot, the gear would heat up to the point where it would like push the selector would swell up enough to like pop it out of gear. So that would be a condition, like if you were driving along and you noticed it do that, and it popped out of gear and you could get it back into gear without much fight, then that's probably what your issue was. So it started popping out of gear in West Virginia, and eventually, instead of just trying to hold it, like every time I'd put it back into fifth gear, it would be okay for a little while and then it'd pop out again. So I didn't want to burn fifth gear up. So I decided to drive it the rest of the way in fourth gear. So it had the close ratio transmission that was put in the GTI and stuff in it. And so like even in fifth gear, 75 miles per hour was something like 3,200 or 3,400 RPM, something like that. So it was already kind of screaming along when you consider the engine's red line was like 6,000 RPM. So in fourth gear, it was basically at like 5,500 RPM at 75. And I drove it like 240 some odd miles, screaming along in fourth gear. And it didn't complain one bit. It was just fine the whole way. You know, when I realized the issue was happening, I called one of my Volkswagen friends. And because I was kind of new to them at that point, you know. I had done a lot of reading, but I didn't have a whole lot of experience. And, you know, I told him what was going on. I was like, man, should I get a tow or what? It's going to cost a fortune. He's like, nah, just drive in fourth gear. And I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, that's going to be bouncing off the limiter pretty much. And he's like, yep, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Okay. So I did. It was fine. Didn't overheat. Oil temperature stayed normal. It had an oil temperature gauge, so that's how I knew. Did it like champ. It still ended up getting like 30, 34 or 36 miles per gallon too. It was unbelievable. So the point I was getting at after a very, very long story was that, you know, not all cars are created equal, of course. But if you're getting a European car, particularly a German one, most of them are designed to run on the Autobahn. And in order to do that, the engines are put through rigorous stress testing to make sure that they can handle that sort of operation. So there you go. I found out that when I worked for Volkswagen, you know, they told me this and I kind of didn't believe them, but it was true. That when Volkswagen is engineering a new engine, or even if they're revising one or something like that, and they have to put it through various stress testing and things like that, that they will put an engine on a stand on their test rig and, you know, fire it up and make sure it's all broken in and everything like that. And then they will run it at maximum RPM under maximum load on the dyno for like 2 weeks straight without shutting it off. And that kind of blows my mind a little bit. Four-wheel drive only. Sounds great. I wonder if I can even do it in two-wheel drive. We're in two-wheel drive right now. All right, it did that one just fine. I have not been up this road in a long time, so I kind of forget. What I'm going up against here. I remember doing it with the Jamusi a long time ago. Hey, you know what I want to do here real quick, since I've got space. I need to fix my company vehicles are being neglected here. They're the only thing keeping me afloat here, because I'm certainly not earning any money myself. I'm just screwing around. All right. Very good. All right, I need a drink too. All righty. Should we pop this into four-wheel drive? Why not? It's too bad it's freaking dark. See, I think this also has a low range too, which my logic with the 13-speed transmission, it probably doesn't really need to use it. It's working though. Yeah, another thing I learned that Volkswagen did too is when they're actually doing like a complete engine and chassis drivetrain test, that they'll get a whole car and put it on a rolling road and then operate it at basically maximum output for like thousands of kilometers. Which again, that kind of just blows my mind just to think about. But I guess they use a lot of the energy that's generated from the car doing that to like power the buildings and stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, when I was at a Volkswagen corporate event, there was I mean, it was probably at the time, I think it was considered like industry only information, and it wasn't supposed to come out, but I'm sure it's public knowledge now. But there was a couple of the examples, and they showed some of the some like pictures and videos from their test labs and stuff. It's pretty freaking cool. And they really do, like, a lot of them like were wearing like actual like white lab coats and stuff. It's crazy. Very German. So it made me not worry too much after, you know, I didn't think, oh, my lowly Scirocco wasn't subject to that kind of torture, but yeah, apparently it was. So it did it just fine. This is this road is pretty rough. I kind of forgot. It's pretty intense. I don't think that my off-road bus would be able to handle coming up this. Now, I don't think there's an actual bus stop down here. There might be. But I don't think there's any bus that could make it down here. Or up here, I guess, since we're going mostly uphill. Oh. Yeah, this thing's not struggling even a little bit. Even with all that fuel. Now, I know it's not a huge load of fuel, really, but I mean, it's full. I would like to see some different configurations of this truck in this game. It'd be cool. Like, I feel like you could... I feel like I've seen Unimogs that are designed to haul people, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that they've built some that can transport people. It would definitely make a better bus than most of the other buses in the game for doing off-road stuff. Maybe you couldn't carry as many people, but it could probably do it easier. I haven't even damaged the body yet. Oh, come on. Okay, bounce it around here just a little bit. Try not to roll it. Oh, bridge. Okay. Hello there. Freaking sun's finally coming up. I feel like I did this entire stupid journey up here in the dark. Yay, I can see. I don't think there's any mud or anything to worry about on this stretch. I think it's just rough roads. Oh God. Might have the suspension a little bit too stiff. It's kind of bouncing around a little bit back there. The front seems to be pretty good. Maybe the suspension was already adjusted pretty stiff from the factory, so... Or from the factory, in default configuration. Oh! Uh-oh. Oh crap. Oh boy, this is not a good position to be in. Oh yeah, we're just resting on the frame here, okay? Not much I can do to get out of this one. I couldn't even winch. Nothing to winch to. All right, back me up, please. Let's try that again, shall we? Oh God, camera. Seriously. I was right in the middle of lining this up. Okay, maybe the wheel spacers were maybe a bad idea. I'm a little too wide for the bridge now. Man, check out the interior of this thing. Freaking sweet. All right. One more stop, I think, and what? It's the very end of the line here. Yeah, I think that back is too stiff. It's weird, like some of the cars in this game, like the Porsche, the Fordham or whatever it's called, the suspension seems to be set up really, really well, like just default, and then other cars are just horribly set up. And that back is just bouncing around all over the place. I'll probably have to fix that if I'm going to do this again. No, this isn't going to earn me a whole bunch of money, but I just kind of wanted to do it for something different, you know? I wanted to take some fuel down to Guangjin to get more people to spawn at the bus stop down there. Because the more people you get at that bus stop, obviously the more money you earn taking them to the Gappa terminal. That pays a bunch of money. I think that's probably the quickest and easiest job, repeatable job that you can do in this game to get money, like, quickly. Doesn't take a whole lot of time to do. Especially if you have a camper set up down there, then you can just teleport back and then summon the truck back. Almost rolled it again. Summon the truck back and Bob's your uncle. Here we are. I heard you guys wanted fuel. I have it. I don't see anywhere for you to put the said fuel. But I guess that's not my problem. $76 grand plus 4,600 town bonus. $80,000. Wow. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. Here, I want to see if this thing can, like, crawl up a freaking hill and crap. Can we do 4 low? Hell yeah, we're doing 4 low. We're do some extreme mountain climbing with this sucker. Did I center it? No. Look at that approach angle, though. That is, like, intense. All right. Well, doing it slow didn't help. Let's see if we can do it fast. Oh, yes. Look at that. Standing on its freaking wheels. And I rolled it. I could have just gone back to the road over here and driven up that way. Would have been just fine. Details. Yeah, let's do it from this way. Okay, this is a awkward position here. Come on. There we go. All right. There we go. This is where I wanted to go. All right. Let's see if we can get like on top of this ridge over here. Yeah, this thing is great, man. I wish it was useful for more stuff than just fuel and wrecking jobs. Whoa, there's a rock there. Can we just bounce over this log too? Absolutely. There we go. Epic screenshot. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself a Brutus. It's much fun. It's like the terrain is kind of weird here. Probably because you're not supposed to be driving up here. Imagine that. All right, that's about as good as it's going to get right there. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. So thank you. Oh, boy, look at that view. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I had a great time playing Motortown. Hopefully you had a good time watching. Like I said before, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this content. If you're not subscribed, think about subscribing. That would be awesome too. Yeah, check out my other stuff on my channel. I got Motortown, I got The Long Drive, I've got Drive Beyond Horizons, I've got my garage going way back. I haven't played that game in a while, but I've got that. I got my summer car. I got all kinds of stuff going on. So check it out and leave me a comment on what you like to see and what you might want to have me play sometime in the future if you feel like it. And I will see you all on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.